And so I'm taking over the interview, Mike. This is Ryno, and on the phone, we have Congressman Trent Kelly. How are you doing today, Congressman? Good to talk to you today.
I'm great, Ryno. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. It's a fine Tuesday. It's the day after Memorial Day, a day in which we honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for this country. I know that you've served your country honorably. Thank you for that. But we got you on today to talk about the upcoming primaries. The first question I wanted to ask you, why did you decide to run for Congress in the first place?
Well, Ryno, I was an elected district attorney when Congressman Dunley passed away, and he was doing a great job. And when he passed away, it just presented an opportunity that I thought I could help more people.
Yeah.
You know, you just can be more effective for more people than you were as DA. And so literally it was just an opportunity to serve our nation in one other capacity to try to help and straighten out some of that stuff up there.
Well, now that you've gotten up there and you've spent some time in the halls of Congress, you've served Mississippi's 1st District since 2015. What would you say is your proudest achievement since you've been elected to serve the state of Mississippi? What's the biggest thing you've accomplished since you made your way to Congress, or the one that you've seen that's had the biggest impact on your constituents in the Magnolia State?
Well, I mean, probably the biggest thing that we did is I passed the Gold Star Fellowship Program in the House. It's a House resolution.
Yeah.
And I established that program and got to hire the first Gold Star fellow. And that's especially appropriate here on Memorial Day. It allows those mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, parents, grandparents, children, those killed in action, killed in a war zone. It allows them to work in a congressional office and be a staffer in a congressional office, and to learn that so they can provide back after they've lost their loved one. It allows them to get involved in the legislative process.
That is a great program.
And also, Ryno, I mean, every National Defense Authorization Act, I'll have somewhere between 50 and 45 amendments that are adopted and passed into law. And, you know, and just recently, it's also important to recognize those who served this nation. And I named a post office here in Tupelo after Colonel Smitty Harris, who is spent almost 8 years in the Hanoi Hilton in Vietnam. And it was an honor to recognize him by naming a post office after him. Those are just a few of the things. But most of our work goes through amendments, not actual, you know, bills that you pass solo, but they're things that are part of a bigger piece of legislation.
I'd say that's definitely worth pointing out, the dedication of the post office to Colonel Smitty Harris. And the Gold Star program seems like a home run already. So, going from looking in to looking out, you've got opponents that have thrown varying degrees of mud your direction, but it seems like for the most part it's been a relatively clean race with limited mudslinging. Do you have anything that you would say separates you from the rest of the pack leading up to the primaries? Or would you say that your record stands for itself?
Well, we stand on our record. I've given a whole lifetime of service to this nation in uniform. I've given a lot in service as a district attorney. I do a great job up there. I'm on the right committees to help Mississippi. I just recently got back from the Gulf Coast visiting all our defense contractors and those folks down there that our economy relies on. And so you get a known commodity here. You get someone who you know effectively works with other legislatures, who gets stuff done and gets stuff done for Mississippi.
It is hard to argue with that. What would you say is your number one priority going forward should you gain re-election? What should be worked on, or what could be fixed?
I think the number one priority is try to straighten out some of this mess that the president is causing and creating. You know, it is it's terrible right now. The inflation, I filled up today it's unbelievable that gas prices are this high. You know, and the administration does not take any credit. They will not. They try to blame the Russian invasion. Gas prices were going up in last year's budget, not this year's, last year, President Biden in his budget says he's trying to raise gas prices and cost on consumers, and he's done that. And I just we have to straighten out and be a checks and balances on this administration. They have the House, the Senate, and the White House, and they have done nothing but they have wrecked our economy, and we have lost respect all over the world. And we have to get our side back, at least in the House, and hope for the Senate too, to hold this administration in check and get some oversight on them.
Speaking of losing respect, I know it's a different branch of government than the one you work in, but what are your thoughts on the leak from the U.S. Supreme Court of the supposed coming opinion on Roe v. Wade? How do you feel that leak hampered the work of the Supreme Court? And what do you think of this administration's response to that leak?
Well, they lose a lot of credibility by doing that leak. You know, they've been in business a long time, and they're one of the most respected branches of government. And some political hack, probably working for one of the justices, decided that they didn't like a ruling, so they would try to take it in their own hands and change and influence. And then we've had, our president will not call out those protesting our Supreme Court justices at home. I think that's illegal. I think it's intimidation of a judge or a jury, which is patently against the law. And our speaker has done the same thing. So I think it's awful that they leaked it, and I think it's awful that they won't condemn those groups that are trying to persuade the judicial process for a political purpose.
Do you have anything in particular that you would like to tell the voters of Mississippi leading up to the primaries?
No, I just want to thank them, Ryno, for electing me to Congress to start with. We continue to stay in touch with our constituency. I'm in the district every second that I'm not in D.C. I'm visible. I'm out in the district. And the other thing is we continue to take care of all the constituent services. There's no office that is more responsive to ours out of the 435 in Congress. And we hope that we can continue to take care of our constituents, whether it's veterans or Social Security applicants or getting a passport for somebody who has to go on vacation and is a little bit late. We continue to provide those services as well as anybody on the Hill.
If people want to reach out to you or keep up with you, how can they do that?
They can go to our website, or they can call either our local offices here in Mississippi or our D.C. office, and we will get right back to them. We respond to every single person who calls or writes our office. And unlike most offices, we didn't close for COVID. We kept people in the office even during the initial start of COVID. We had someone there. Our constituents deserve to talk to a real person on the phone.
Well, Congressman, it has been an honor and a privilege to make this my first interview with you. I have known you longer than I've been working in radio, and I do appreciate your time, and I especially appreciate your service to this country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ryno.
That was Congressman Trent Kelly, serving in Mississippi's 1st Congressional District since 2015. He's the incumbent in the Republican primary coming up on June 7th. If you missed his conversation or any other conversation with any of the candidates in the primaries, you can go to SuperTalk's YouTube page. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi on YouTube, and you can find any of the interviews with the candidates, not just the candidates from MidDays, but also on Gallo's show. And you can find other videos from the other shows like Good Things with Rebecca Turner or Sports Talk Mississippi with Richard Cross, Brian Haydad, and Michael Borky in the afternoons. Just go to YouTube, subscribe. If you like what you see, hit the like button. And if you hit the little notification bell, you will get notifications sent to your devices when we upload videos, so you won't miss out on anything. But yeah, go to YouTube and search for SuperTalk Mississippi. If you search for SuperTalk Mississippi and the word candidate, you should be able to find all of them there. But check them out. Give them a listen, give them a watch, and you can use that to make an informed decision coming up on the primaries. Again, that's June 7th, so make sure you go out and vote. But now, unfortunately, it's time for me to hand control of the microphone back over to Gerard. So here you go, Gerard. From the Element Wealth Studios, it's been Ryno. Now, Gerard, take it away. Actually, no, scratch that. I'm not giving the mic back to Gerard until after the break, so You stick around, because we're not going anywhere. This is Middays with Gerard Gibbert on SuperTalk, Mississippi. I'm Ryno. This is the Element Wealth Studio. We'll be right back.